Hey guys, it's Cas and welcome to a new video. Today I want to share with you the quickest way to become a profitable trader. Because if you're new to trading or if you have been trading for a while, how do you make sure you actually get to your goal of making an income from trading? Today I will explain exactly what I would do if I had to start from scratch again. I will share on which things I would focus, and I will also share the strategies I would use to get to my goal of profitable trading.
So, if I had to start again, the absolute first thing I would do is get realistic expectations of the actual job. Because if you search for trading online, you're going to see all the good stories, the holidays, the expensive stuff. But that's not the job of a trader. The job of a trader is to make money trading by taking good trades. And I'm going to talk about a side of trading that almost no one talks about. But if I were starting again, I would start there because if you start with the wrong expectations of trading, you're going to run into a lot of issues. So let's go to my Excel sheet. Now, you probably haven't seen this before, but I'm going to take you through this. So let's say you have a strategy with a win rate of 45% and your average R is 1.7. Together, that is a profitable strategy. And let's say that's a historical data, that's a backtest you've done it correctly. Let's say these are realistic numbers. Your trading year might look something like this and not like, okay, every single month I have a 45% win rate. Every single month I have the exact same amount of trades and the exact same amount of income. That's not the case. Trading is a variable income source, and that's what I'm going to dive into. So let's say this is your typical year based on these statistics, which again is profitable. In January, we have 12 trades, and 5 of those are winners, which gives you this win rate and this R that you made, 1.5 R. February, 6 trades, 9, 8, 1, 5, 12, 12, 8, 3, 4, 7. Um, the first thing you need to understand about this is that this is the reality. And what most people are doing, for example, in May, they've only taken one trade that fits their strategy. They cannot wait until June for the next trade. So they will find all sorts of reasons to enter a trade which doesn't fit the plan and therefore they lose money. That's the first thing. Trading as a job is taking trades where the odds are in your favor and doing nothing stupid in the meantime. And most people just can't do that. And some months you have a lot of trades and some months you don't. And you have to prepare for that and you have to accept it. That's the reality of trading. The next thing I want to point out here is that your win rate constantly fluctuates. So let's say you did a historical backtest on 15 years of data and this was your average win rate. At some point in time, your win rate might have been 30%. Then it went up to 50, 60%, but the average was 45. That's also what's going to happen during a year. So you might have a 41% win rate in January, in February 50, and then 22. And then this is the month where most people are like, okay, my strategy stopped working, don't know what to do, psychology issues, whatever it's going to be. And then the next month, oh damn, 25% win rate, again a losing month. I don't know what to do. And they will highly likely mess up in this area. And I did that too in the beginning because I didn't know that this is a realistic way of getting an income from trading. And then, yeah, most likely they will make mistakes in May to make up for those months, and then they run into all sorts of issues. So realize that if you did a back test or if you have a strategy, this is your average, and the average can really fluctuate in the short term. Let that be very clear. Then also the R. So I did the returns in R. And if you take a look at the performance of the year, you can see we made a bit more than 15% with this particular strategy and very decent, very little drawdown. Now that's really good. And this is realistic. This is how your income can look from trading. And if you then take a look at the right sides, amount of trades, 87 trades, 38 winners, win rate of 43.5% basically, so almost exactly as the historical win rate. And you made 15.6 R. If you risk 1% and we don't include compounding, it's 15.6 return, which is very, very good actually. You've beaten the S&P on average, so that's a very good year, but the way the returns are distributed is not linear. And that's what I want you to realize as well, as we only had 5 winning months of the year, but we still made a great year. And most of the returns came in December. What do people say about December? Don't trade in December. It's not a good month to trade. If you skip December here, you had a you had a profitable year, but not as good as you could have had because you listened to others. So the next lesson there is, if I would start again, I would just follow my plan and do what works for what I researched upon. This is also going to show you that if you were anxious because you had 3 losing months in a row and you were like, everyone tells me December is bad, I'm not going to trade December, or I'm making mistakes in the execution in December, you messed up your entire year. Returns don't come evenly. You can have a very good month, few bad months, very good month, etc. And you have to show up here in order to make the return. And if you don't show up there, you're gonna have a bad time with trading. So to kind of conclude this sheet, trading is a reliable income source. The issue with that is that most people watching this, and I as well, have fixed expenses. Pay for your house, groceries, etc. The issue that most people run into is that if they have fixed expenses of 1500 euros a month, for example, and they don't make any money trading that month, they're going to force things to make that income. But that's not how the market works. Again, going back to the job as a trader, is taking trades where the odds are in your favor and not doing anything stupid in the meantime. So yeah, I hope that is clear. Winning every month is also practically impossible. I don't know any profitable fund or trader that wins every single month. There are very consistent traders, but winning every month is practically impossible. So don't aim for that. And having these expectations is really going to help you to set everything correctly in your mind to make sure you can start with your trading journey effectively. Another thing I want to show you is basically these 3 things. This is a big fund, Mulvaney Capital. Basically a very good systematic trend following fund. And as you can see from 2015 all the way to 2021, something like that, they haven't made any return basically. It's just stagnation sideways. And then all of a sudden, boom, a lot of returns. This is normal. And if you go to the next fund, Down Capital, same thing here. So they are the blue line. They've beaten the S&P. And in fact, if you started with them at the beginning of their fund, you now have 6 times more almost than if you invest in the S&P over that entire period. But as you can see, multi-year drawdown. Again, stagnation here with a decent drawdown. So even the professionals don't win every month. They don't win every year. And they sometimes also have decent sized drawdowns, but they stick to the plan because they know eventually, if you're a trend follower, for example, a trend is going to come along. And if you show up with a trend strategy when a trend is coming along, you're going to have a good time, basically. And then another example, Robuxio, crypto fund, multi-strategy fund, they as well, they do very well in terms of returns and pretty consistent as well. But again, there are periods, multi-months, where they don't make a return and are in stagnation or drawdown. Reality of trading, guys, and no one tells you this, but if I were going to start again with trading today, this is my first thing I would focus on to really understand what is doable, basically, what's not doable, and what to expect from my trading income. All right, so the next thing is going to be setting solid goals, and that's going to be a realistic multi-year plan, because highly likely that is going to take you multiple years before you even make money from trading. Took me a bit over around 4 years, I have to say, around 4 years, almost 4 years. And that's because I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't like I had a side job, but I had so much time that I could put into trading. I've seen people that took 7 years to become profitable. So it's a multi-year thing, career path, and even no guarantee that you're going to make it. But if I would start again, I would make a realistic multi-year plan, and I would start with part-time trading for the reasons I discussed earlier, that trading is a variable income source, not consistent. So I would have a part-time income that would cover all my expenses. So if I had a losing month, it wouldn't really bother me. Therefore, I'm more relaxed when trading and I only take the setups that I should take. Then I would scale up, and then eventually, if I wanted to, I would do full time. But this is what I would do if I would start over again, and I usually recommend this to people as well. Start slow, start part-time, see how it feels, and then eventually if you want and you have enough capital and the skills, then scale up. But it's a multi-year plan. Then I would start working on the 3 pillars of profitability. And that's going to bring me down here. There we go. The first pillar is and will always be a profitable strategy. You can have the best mindset in the world. If your strategy doesn't work, you're not going to make money. That's it. How would I find that profitable strategy? I would learn from traders that work in a fund at the moment. I would learn from ex-fund traders or profitable retail traders with track records. Anyone that doesn't fall into one of these three categories, I would ignore. Because then it's highly likely you're learning from someone that's not profitable themselves, and that's just not optimal. I would get ideas from these traders. I would identify these ideas. I would formulate these ideas, and then I would backtest the ideas to see the historical performance of that. Then I would analyze to see, okay, did I do all the robustness testing? Is it something viable, etc., etc. And then I would trade it. And I'm saying it very quickly, but it goes a lot of time into that process. That's how I would find my profitable strategy. Once I have a profitable strategy, the second thing I would do is fix my psychology. How are we going to do that? We're going to create a feedback loop for problem identification. So pillar one was building a strategy that you backtesting and became up profitable, but the skill is trading that actual strategy live without mistakes. And it's not going to happen in the beginning, so you're going to make mistakes. And the way you learn from those mistakes is having a feedback loop, that basically a journal where you note down, hey, today I made a mistake. And then every week you review, okay, I made this mistake, made that mistake. How can I fix this? And then you're going to fix it. So you have your problem identification and you fix the problems. And that's how you quickly identify psychological issues, issues in your execution, and how you fix those issues. I would understand probabilities very quickly. Said a 50% win rate is not winning 5 out of 10, it's winning 500 out of 1,000 trades. That's very basic, that goes more into that, but I would focus on that. I would focus on building certainty, and that sounds strange because the markets are not certain whatsoever. There's a lot of uncertainty there, but you can build certainty by being very clear in what you want to see. So very clear in your strategy. Know exactly what you need to see before you enter a trade. Know what you don't want to see, etc., etc. Know the probabilities. And then also this, understanding and accepting your strategy. Understand where it makes its money, where it's going to go into a drawdown, and accept that. For example, if you have a trend strategy and it's going like you're trading a market that has been ranging for 3 or 4 months, it's quite logical that it's not going to make money. You have to understand it about your strategy and accept the fact that, okay, I'm going to lose money in ranges, but if a trend comes along, this strategy makes sure I'm in it and I'm capitalizing on it. Very, very important. And then pillar number 3 is going to be risk management and funding. Once I have my profitable strategy, I fix my psychological issues, I can trade it without mistakes. I would make a plan for scaling up. So I would really look, okay, do I want to go with my own capital? Do I want to go to the prop firms? Build a risk plan that fits one of these things, where you want to go. And then pick the right prop firms. There's a lot of prop firms out there. Most are shit, but there are some good ones. Build a plan for the evaluation phase. Know every single rule to make sure you don't fail because you didn't know the rules. And make a plan for payout. So when is it smart to ask for a payout? When is it smart to continue trading? How much do you risk there? How much do you risk during evaluation? Everything. Complete business plan. Then you have your 3 pillars of profitability. A profitable strategy that you can trade without mistakes and you have sufficient capital to make an income. That's what I would focus on when I would be starting again. Then getting help and hiring people. For 2.5 years when I started trading, I did everything on my own. Read every book, article, watched every video, etc., etc. Then I was stuck and I got help. And that's when I quickly progressed. And if I look back in hindsight, I would have done it again. Now, few things about this. Ask questions to professionals. And you don't have to pay anyone or hire anyone. For example, what I do when I'm stuck on a certain topic or I want to know more about what other professionals are doing, I just send them an email. I'm like, hey, I've been following you for a while, which I often have. I like what you're doing. I'm kind of doing the same thing myself, but I have a few questions about this, this, and this. It will surprise you how many people, even funds, are going to answer your question and are going to help you to continue in the right direction. So I would do that way more. I was basically way too shy to ask questions, but yeah, I would have done that way more if I would start over again. And then possible, not needed, but if you really want to fast track your learning curve essentially, work with a professional trader one on one. Because one on one is, in my opinion, the best way to learn because every single trader is different, every person is different, and if you give everyone the exact same course, people not won't get the most value out of it. But if you have someone that you can work at one on one, ask questions, have meetings with, you're really going to progress. So that's an option you can do as well. I would definitely do if I was going to start over again. What would I not do? Also very important. And that's basically everything I didn't discuss today. So I didn't discuss signals. I didn't discuss your favorite influencer's YouTube channel. Didn't discuss Instagram Shorts. Um, buying robots online, etc., etc., etc. Everything I didn't discuss today, I wouldn't do if I would start again, simply because most of the things outside of this are distractions mainly, and sometimes they can be valuable, but they are so small compared to these things, that I would really prioritize these things and then maybe later do some other things, but like signals, etc., will never be in there because it's just a waste of time. So yeah, the question I want to ask you is, what are you currently doing? One of these things. Are you doing something that's inside this list? Are you doing things that are not inside this list? And maybe it's better if you stop doing those things. Just something to think about, because if you're now watching YouTube videos from your favorite trading influencer that doesn't have a track record or anything like it, you're highly likely wasting a lot of time. If you are trading with a strategy that you don't even know works, you're wasting quite a lot of time. You can learn something from it, but it's not optimal. So think about what you're doing right now to become a better trader, compare it to this list, and see if you need to replace things to get to your goal quicker. And this is how I would become a profitable trader if I had to start again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.